Hi, I'm Dallas Maudlin, and my veteran was Connie Ball. Connie Ball was in the Army and he served in the Vietnam War. My experience as a guardian was definitely exciting. This year was my first year going, and I definitely want to go again. There's so much more of an experience than I did this year. My veteran was super funny, and he always kept repeating himself about how all of his family was in the Navy except him. He decided to be the outcast and be in the Army.
My name is Brooke Toy. My veteran was Richard Buckle, and he served in the Army. My experience with Mr. Buckle was good. He had a good sense of humor. We got along really well. He had a lot of stories, and each memorial we went to, he would tell me some little things like about if it affected him or how it affected him. So that was pretty interesting.
My name is Michaela Walters, and my veteran for honor flight was Tom Grelk. He served in the Army during Vietnam. My experience of serving as a guardian was phenomenal, mostly because Tom not only made sure that I was having a good time, but made sure he was having a good time as well, so we both ended up having a great time with each other. The thing that impressed me most about Tom was how close he is to his family and such a big heart he has, which is kind of like how I am, so we got along very well during our trip.
My veteran's name was Lynn Hinkle. He was in the Army during the Vietnam War. My experience as serving as a guardian is spectacular. It is an amazing opportunity to be in high school and be able to take these men and women to Washington to see things that they've never probably seen. The thing that impressed me most about my veteran is that his knowledge about everything that he went through in Vietnam was so great, and his laugh was hilarious, and that made my trip so much better.
My veteran for this past honor flight was my grandpa, Herschel Patterson, and he was in the Army. I had a lot of fun serving as a guardian on this honor flight trip. I really enjoyed being able to take my grandpa and taking him to all the memorials, and I loved hearing stories from him and all the other veterans that went. What impressed me most about my grandpa is that I never heard any stories about his time in the service until this trip, and I was just amazed that he felt comfortable being able to open up to me and talk to me about it.
Hi, my name is Isaac Brown, and I am a junior in school. My veteran was Rocky Robertson, and he was in the Army. He was in the Vietnam War, but he wasn't actually in Vietnam. He did communications, I'm pretty sure. He was still in the U.S. though. My experience as a guardian was a lot of fun. It was a really fast trip, and we had to cram a lot of stuff into there, but even though it was so hectic, there were just so many enjoyable parts that just made it worth all of the effort that we went through. What impressed me about my veteran was his stories. He could talk about nearly anything in his life and turn it into a very exciting story. There was not a single dull moment with him around. It was just a lot of fun, and I'm glad Rocky Robertson was my veteran.
My veteran was John Weslow, and his branch of the military was the Army, and he was in the Vietnam conflict. My experience was really good. He wasn't in a wheelchair. It was really easy. He walked around and I had to keep up with him. What impressed me most was He was straight to the point about everything. He knew a little bit about everything, and I had to keep up with him.
Hello, my name is Jonathan Borntrager, and my veteran was Robert Banker. He served in the Navy during World War II. I would have to say my experience was as great as it always was. It was amazing to be able to give back to someone who gave so much for this country, and I would love the opportunity to do it again. I was impressed about how humble he was about everything. He didn't seem to brag about serving. He always had a good story to tell, and he was just amazing how his character stood out to me. I don't know why. He's one of the oldest, nicest elderly people I've ever met, honestly.
Hey, my name is Cooper Hard. My veteran was Bob Hard. He was in the Navy during the Vietnam War. My experience during the honor flight is just truly amazing. There's nothing better than having your veteran see the memorials that they earned. What impressed me most about my grandpa was that, one, he's my grandpa, and that when I asked him if he could go do it again, he said that he wouldn't give up anything.
My veteran was Mac McCone. He served in the Navy. My experience with my guardian was great. He told me several different stories about himself. My veteran impressed me by all the different memories he told me about and all of the different buildings he had seen, and it was just a great experience.
My name is Kirsten Metzger, and my veteran was Roger Shell. He did not serve in the war front, but he did do quality control on weapons and equipment that would be used in the war. He was in the Air Force for quite a while, and I would say that my experience with him was outstanding and a once-in-a-lifetime experience. I never thought that meeting someone like that would be that easy to get along with, because usually they have a different sense of humor because of their time, but it was actually a really fun experience, and I would definitely do it again. What impressed me most about my veteran is the fact that for the last 30-odd years, he has studied the movement and traction of bluebirds in the Iowa area, and it actually seemed pretty interesting. He makes their houses and finds ways to make them not go extinct.
My name is Emerson Hall. My veteran was Randy Stoughton, and he was in the Navy, and he served in the Vietnam War. My experience as a guardian was great. I learned a lot of life lessons from Randy. What impressed me most about my veteran was all the experiences he learned while he was in the military and how it helped him when he got out of the military.
Hi, I'm Kylie Gillis, and my veteran was Monty Schmidt, and he was in the Navy. My experience as a guardian was amazing. I've never been to Washington, D.C. before, so that was my first time, and that was my first time on honor flights, so it was definitely rememberable. And me and my veteran got along great, and we had a good time. And what most impressed me about him was it was kind of cold the whole time, and he never wore a jacket. Never. Even when it was raining. And he was so funny and sweet.
Hi, my name is Briley Copeland. My veteran was Lowell Ettinger, and he served in the Navy during the Vietnam War. My experience as a guardian was truly amazing. I love taking the veterans to see all the memorials and giving them a trip of a lifetime. What most impressed me about my veteran was that he's basically the older version of me. I can see myself having the same personality as him in my older years.
Hello, my name is Haven Harvey.
And I'm Braylon Falls.
And I was the guardian of Bill Steiner.
And I was the guardian of Jackson Steiner.
And they both served in the National Guard and the Army.
And that was during the Vietnam era.
My experience was pretty great, as usual. I always love going on honor flight and helping out the veterans any way possible.
The honor flight experience cannot compare to just sitting in a classroom, reading a textbook, even learning from a teacher. That does not compare to going on the trip and hearing the stories firsthand from the veterans. That's completely incredible.
What mostly impressed my veteran was that instead of going over to Vietnam, he was the 3rd platoon. So he stayed over in America and he handled all the riots going on.
My veteran, like I said before, like the trip and himself, Jackson, he's just incredible. But I would say I'm just most impressed that he could put up with me for the whole weekend that he did. I know I'm a handful, and I was so blessed to meet him and his brother as well. And they're just great guys doing great things.
Oh, yeah.
Hi, my name is Colleen Decker, and my veteran on the honor flight this year was Danny Carmen. He was in the National Guard for the Army. My experience serving as a guardian on this honor flight was absolutely amazing. We got to visit all the monuments, and having Danny Joe Carmen as my veteran couldn't have been any better. What impressed me most about my veteran was his sense of humor and his love for his family. No matter where we went, he always seemed to make jokes with the people working there or the other veterans and guardians on the flight. What impressed me most of all was his love for his family. He told me all about his grandsons and his siblings and his daughters, and he told me all about his love for them, especially during mail call when he received letters from them.
I'm Jameson Chapman. My veteran was Dwight Blackwood, and he was in the Air Force. I was very proud to serve as my veteran's guardian and spend time with him and learn about how he was most dedicated to our country by serving the military. Dwight was a funny guy. He had a lot of information that he loved to tell people. He was one of the more energetic veterans that I had met. He was really nice. He did, however, was funny, and that was what I was most impressed about him.
Hey, my name is Joe Harvey. My veteran was Larry Drake. He was in the Air Force during the Korean War. It was a great experience to go on this honor flight. It was awesome to help this veteran see his memorials and look at him, and to see his Korean War memorial that he was in. Larry's a one-of-a-kind guy. He's the kind of guy that you never get to talk to every day. It was just incredible to hear all those stories.
I'm Griffin Miner. As of 2018, I'm a senior at high school, and my veteran for this honor flight trip was Bill Ireland. He served in the Korean War. He was in the Air Force. He was on board a cargo plane, a really big cargo plane, he tells me. He was a mechanic on board, and he traveled around a lot of the world is what he would always, it's what he talked about at least. I don't think he did too much else, but still did his part. Personally, my experience was essentially, Bill was a really great guy, and I had a lot of fun on this honor flight because a lot of my friends came, and kind of sad my sister graduated before I could go on another honor flight with her, but other than that, it was a really fun experience. Yeah, Bill was a great guy. And pretty much the thing that impressed me most about Bill was that he had a bit of cancer, and just a day or two before the honor flight trip, he actually finished a chemotherapy. Like he finished a treatment, and still on the honor flight, he told me once or twice that he wasn't feeling too good because of it, but throughout the rest of the flight, I never saw him not smiling. He was a happy-go-lucky kind of guy. Yeah, he had as much fun as I did, if not more.
I'm Taryn Lather, and my veteran was Gary Lewis, and he was in the Air Force, and he served during the Vietnam War. He definitely made my first honor flight one to remember, and I'll probably never forget it. And the thing that I'll remember about this trip is how brave and how strong he was. It was like the first day I was kind of scared because it was like my first time in Washington, D.C., but he made it like fun, and learning about him was probably the best part about the trip.
My name is Kyra Ull. My veteran's name was Joseph Mitchell. He served in the Air Force during the time of Vietnam. My experience of serving as a guardian was one to remember. Joseph and I shared lots of memories together. I enjoyed his stories that he told, and he also was reading a book, and he caught me up on what he was reading. What impressed me most about my veteran was his job during the Air Force. He was one who would jump out of the airplanes to go to the different bases.
My veteran was Glenn Terrell, and he was in the Air Force. My experience as serving as a veteran has always been quite inspiring, and it's definitely been one of the best parts of high school, and I'm never going to forget it. What impressed me the most about my veteran is all the different experiences that he's had throughout his life.
My name is Kathy Temple. I'm the wife of an Air Force veteran, and my veteran I'd like to talk about today is April Sanders. She served in the United States Air Force, actually retired from the Air Force. On honor flights, my experience has been that I really enjoyed seeing the memorials and everything through the eyes of my veteran. They seem to really be impressed by how people feel about them. I don't think they always know how the public feels about them. They always feel like just ordinary people, but we see them as heroes. What impresses me most about Mrs. Sanders is that she's very upbeat and that she's had so much experience in the military. She served in Afghanistan. She was actually a dental technician. And so she has a lot of different experiences. And then she has experiences outside of the military, dealing with horses and training them, even wild mustangs. is to be able to deal with people. And I think that she got that ability from her dealing with military members through her dental technician and other things like that.
Hi, I'm Colgan Hull. My veteran was Bob Clouser. He was in the Coast Guard. As a guardian for Bob Clouser, it was an amazing experience. He always had fun, entertaining stories to tell. Bob was impressive because although he should have been in a wheelchair, he never wanted to be. He always wanted to take his walker with him.
If tomorrow all the things were gone I'd worked for all my life, and I had to start again with just my children and my wife. I thank my lucky stars to be living here today, 'cause the flag still stands for freedom and they can't take that away. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today, 'cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA.
My lords, my ladies, now arriving in the airport terminal, the Southern County on flight carrying veterans from World War II.
From the lakes of Minnesota to the hills of Tennessee, across the plains of Texas, from sea to shining sea, from Detroit down to Houston, and New York to LA, where there's pride in every American heart, and it's time we stand and say that I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today, 'cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. An American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today, 'cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the
I hear people say we don't need this war. I say there's something worth fighting for. What about our freedom and this piece of ground? We didn't get to keep them backing down. They say we don't realize the mess we're getting in. Before you start your preaching, took all the footage off my TV. Said it's too disturbing for you and me. It'll just breed anger, that's what the experts say. If it was up to me, I'd show it every day. Some say this country's just out looking for a fight. Well, after 9/11, man, I'd have to say that's right. Have you forgotten how it felt that day to see your homeland under fire and her people blown away? Have you forgotten when those towers fell? We had neighbors still inside, going through a living hell. And we vowed to get the ones behind Bin Laden. Have you forgotten? I've been there with the soldiers who've gone away to war. You can bet that they remember just what they're fighting for. Have you forgotten all the people killed? Yes, some went down like heroes in that Pennsylvania field. Have you forgotten about our Pentagon? All the loved ones that we lost and those left to carry on. Don't you tell me not to worry about Bin Laden. Have you forgotten? Have you forgotten? Have you forgotten?
There's a story that my daddy tells religiously, like clockwork every time he sees an opening in a conversation about the way things used to be. Well, I'd just roll my eyes and make a beeline for the door, but I'd always end up starry-eyed, cross-legged on the floor, hanging on to every word. Man, the things I heard. It was harder times and longer days, 5 miles of school uphill both ways. We were cane switch raised, a dirt floor poor. Of course, that was back before the war. Yeah, your uncle and I made quite a pair, flying F-15s through hostile air. He went down, but they missed me by a hair. He'd always stop right there and say,
That's something to be proud of. That's a life you can hang your hat on. That's your chin held high as a tear falls down. A gut sucked in, a chest stuck out like a small town flag a flying, or a newborn baby crying in the arms of the woman that you love. That's something to be proud of.
Son, graduating college, that was Mama's dream. But I was on my way to anywhere else when I turned 18. 'Cause when you got a fast car, you think you got everything. But I learned quick those GTOs don't run on faith. And I ended up broken down in some town north of LA, working maximum hours for minimum wage. Well, I fell in love, next thing I know, the babies came and the car got stowed. Sure do miss that old hot rod, but sure save gas in them foreign jobs. Dad, I wonder if I ever let you down, if you're ashamed how I turned out. Well, he lowered his voice, then he raised his brow. Said, let me tell you right now.
That's something to be proud of. That's a life you can hang your hat on. You don't need to make a million. Just be thankful to be working. If you're doing what you're able, and putting food there on the table, and providing for the family that you love, that's something to be proud of.
And if all you ever really do is the best you can, well, you did it, man.
That's something to be proud of. That's a life you can hang your hat on. That's a chin held high as a tear falls down. Guts up in, just stuck out like a small town flag a flying, or a newborn baby crying in the arms of the woman that you love. That's something to be proud of.
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 Now it's something to be proud of.
My dear son, it's almost June. I hope this letter catches up with you and finds you well. It's been dry, but they're calling for rain, and everything's the same old same in Johnsonville. Your stubborn old daddy ain't said too much, but I'm sure you know he sends his love. And she goes on in a letter from home. I hold it up and show my buddies like we ain't scared and our boots ain't muddy, and they all laugh like there's something funny about the way I talk when I say mama sends her best, y'all. I fold it up and put it in my shirt, pick up my gun and get back to work, and it keeps me driving on, waiting on letters from home. My dearest love, it's almost dawn. I've been lying here all night long, wondering where you might be. I saw your mama and I showed her the ring. Man on a television said something, so I couldn't sleep. But I'll be alright, I'm just missing you. And this is me kissing you, X's and O's, in a letter from home. I hold it up and show my buddies like we ain't scared and our boots ain't muddy, and they all laugh 'cause she calls me honey, but they take it hard 'cause I don't read the good part. I fold it up and put it in my shirt, pick up my gun and get back to work, and it keeps me driving on, waiting on letters from home. Dear son, I know I ain't written, I'm sitting here tonight alone in the kitchen. It occurs to me I might not have said it, so I'll say it now. Son, you make me proud. I hold it up and show my buddies like we ain't scared and our boots ain't muddy, but no one laughs, 'cause there ain't nothing funny when a soldier cries. And I just wipe my eyes. I fold it up and put it in my shirt, pick up my gun and get back to work. And it keeps me driving on, waiting on. Letters from home. American girls and American guys, we'll always stand up and salute. We'll always recognize when we see Old Glory flying. There's a lot of men dead, so we can sleep in peace at night when we lay down our head. My daddy served in the army, where he lost his right eye, but he flew a flag out in our yard till the day that he died. He wanted my mother, my brother, my sister and me to grow up and live happy in the land of the free. Now this nation that I love is falling under attack. A mighty sucker punch came flying in from somewhere in the back. Soon as we could see clearly through our big black eye, man, we lit up your world like the 4th of July. Hey, Uncle Sam, put your name at the top of his list, and the Statue of Liberty started shaking her fist, and the eagle will fly, and it's gonna be here when you hear Mother Freedom start ringing her bell, and it'll feel like the whole wide world is raining down on you. Oh, brought to you courtesy of the red, white, and blue. Served and the battle will rage. This big dog will fight when you rattle his cage, and you'll be sorry that you mess with the U.S. of A. 'Cause we'll put a boot in your ass, it's the American way. Hey, Uncle Sam, put your name at the top of his list, and the Statue of Liberty started shaking her fist, and the eagle will fly, and it's gonna be hell when you hear Mother Freedom start ringing her bell, and it'll feel like the whole wide world is raining down on you. Oh, brought to you courtesy of the red, white, and blue. White and blue. Of my red, white, and
stood beside his daddy and watched the soldiers marching by. It was Veterans Day and he wondered, will There were tears in Daddy's eyes. Later they laid flowers beside a monumental stone. He said, son, my daddy went to fight, didn't make it home. Fallen, not forgotten. He was a hero, he stood so tall. And forever we will remember, with honor and glory, he gave his all. Families, the towns where they were born, for the rice paddies of Vietnam and the sands of Desert Storm. They were soldiers in Korea, in World War I and World War II. They paid the price, some gave their lives, and they fought for me and you. Not forgotten, they were the heroes who stood so tall. And forever we will remember, with honor and glory, they gave their all. A blessing, but freedom has a price. We must remember those who paid it with their lives. Remember the fallen, they're not forgotten. They were the heroes stood so tall. And forever we will remember, with honor and glory, they gave their all. Fallen, they're not forgotten. They were the heroes who stood so tall. And forever we will remember, with honor and glory, with honor and glory, with honor and glory, they gave their all.
was 10, I was thin, I was playing first base with a second-hand glove and dirt on my face in nowhere, Virginia, would go very far. 419 Lakewood had no silver spoons, just an old beat up upright that played out of tune. Now I'm singing and living the life that I love, and when I count my blessings, I thank God I was an American child, an American child, 'cause dreams can grow wild born inside an American child. 7 pounds 3 ounces, she's got my nose and she's into my heart as deep as it goes, with a promise that's more than just someone's last name, anyone's equal.